Good day and welcome back to another podcast of your show for the Gambia. I'm your host Thomas together with Pastor Seka. And of course, after that intro, our guest today is none other than Gambian artist in exile, ready to go back home, Ali Cham, known to many as Killa Ace. Killa Ace, welcome to the For the Gambia show.
Yes, thank you very much, bro, Pa, and my man Modu. It's really a great honor to be on this show with everybody, and a special shout out to everybody that's listening. And I look forward to a very beautiful show with you guys.
All right, tell us, Killa Ace, how did all started? What brought about your exile to Senegal?
Yeah, my exile came with me dropping that song, Kuboko Sigete Nancy Mail Me. And after dropping that song, the situation got hot for me, like in the Gambia, and a lot of stuff, happened. And in the process of that, I was advised to leave, because of the threats that were going on at that particular moment, and because of the intensity of the situation at that particular moment. Even though my intention was to just, drop the song, stay in Gambia, and whatever happens, but when you got good people around you, people like your parents and stuff, they give you good advice and tell you good stuff that would benefit you. So when I dropped the song, I was in Gambia, and within like a couple of hours before 10 a.m. in the morning, like the security services were investigating about me, calling my fans, calling my management, and so on and so on, and taking the advice from great people, and one of the main advices that really got into my head was, you released a song, and this song is very powerful. It has a lot of impact, and the people need you, and they need you alive and well. And if you want to act all brave and courageous, and you stay in Gambia, and something happens to you, then that's the end of the mission, and you're never going to accomplish it, And I'm not going to lie, that really hit me in my head, and I just packed my stuff and left.
What was the trigger behind you writing the song?
Well, for those that know Killa Ace and those that follow Killa Ace, they know that my music, most of my lyrics are centered around social issues. So from back in the days, I always been rapping about what's going on in society, even if it was in a subliminal form and if it wasn't directly, but it was always talking about the day life of the average Gambian, about the typical ghetto youth. So basically, that's all my lyrics were centered around, and I always had been the type of person who always been outspoken, not even politically, but when it comes to the Gambian music scene, I was one of the only artists to speak out against injustices within the music scene, especially with artists getting paid small money and so many other things that nobody would want to talk about, So me being me, I always felt the urge to speak out and speak up against something that I feel like is wrong, especially if it concerns a group of people or the whole entire society. So I remember back in 2013, I released a song called Bring Back Our Girls for the Boko Haram situation in Nigeria, and that song went viral. It was played all over the world, BBC and the rest. And it hit me like, if I can do a song talking about what's happening in Nigeria, a couple of thousand miles away from my homeland, and I can't talk about the situation in my homeland, then that's kind of hypocritical, right? And I went to the extent where the situation in the Gambia just kept on getting me pissed off, and I became so heated to an extent where I couldn't hold it no more. I felt like I have to just like unleash the dragon, and just speak out. And no matter what happens, I have to speak up on behalf of 1.8 million Gambians who really need a voice. And if I'm a rapper, and hip hop came about from the social situation stuff that happened back in the 70s, created hip hop, and hip hop is supposed to be art that represents the people in the society. I'm not using my art right if I don't speak for my particular for my peoples, So there was a bunch of things that were happening at that particular moment. I remember just before I released Kuboko Sigitigi, KMC spent like $4 million to invite Titi to perform, and they had this birthday celebration for the president. Whilst I was working at the Senegal market, and I saw the poor sanitation over there, The garbage was scattered everywhere. And I'm like, if KMC could spend all this money but can't even, do their responsibility, then, this is all garbage. And I started posting Facebook and, a whole bunch of stuff, seeing people get brutalized, being a victim of police brutality, seeing the high rate of corruption, seeing how the president squanders our public funds, while there's so many lack of development that's going on in the country at that that was going on at the country at that particular moment. It just, adding all of those things up together, it just made me said, yo, it's time that I drop a bomb on them, and hey, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? If I'm Gambia's #1 rapper and rap, supposed to speak on behalf of his people, then I believe I'm worthless. So those are all factors that led to me doing Kuboka Sigetigi. And last but not least, I remember there was a group of Senegalese rappers and artists who did a song called No to Impunity. And basically it was a song denouncing Yahya Jammeh and his government. And I felt like if people from the next country could do a song and speak out against my own country, and I couldn't do it in my own country, then I'm even worthless as an MC or a rapper or whatever I want to call myself, So adding all of those things up together, it just gave me more content and just gave me more of a reason to actually drop a song, because I had problems with various artists and, I dissed them. So if I got beef with other artists who not even as influential to the society, then why shouldn't I have beef with the main president who's creating the whole problem of the whole population? So those are all factors that led to me releasing Kuboka Sigetigi. But to be very clear, I've been very outspoken. I rapped about the electricity system in Gambia. I rapped about, the cause and why the youths go the back way in a song called In Fuck You Them, and, so I have always been that artist who have always been socially conscious when it comes to my music. Yeah.
All right, man. You seem to be breaking up, a lot. I don't know if you can move, from where you are, to somewhere a little bit more clear. But
I bet.
Yeah.
Is it better now?
Not a lot,
Okay.
Okay. So
just let me know if it's better. Yeah.
Yeah. Since we're talking about the song and about your exile, can you just go ahead and take us back, on that day, the day that you were living, like how did the whole day started, until you ended up in Senegal?
Yeah, okay. Basically, the whole song started basically when I came to Senegal to attend this international festival, hip hop festival, which I was invited to represent on behalf of Gambia. So when I came to Senegal, I took advantage of the festival to record the song Kuboka Sigetigi. I didn't record it in Gambia because of the fact that I knew that if I recorded it in Gambia, when the situation get heated, and the authorities would go shut down that studio and create problems for that particular studio owner. So I had to come to Senegal, and when I recorded it, I uploaded it at 3 a.m. in the morning. And after I uploaded it, I boarded a car to come back to Gambia. And by the time I arrived in Gambia, authorities were already all over the place looking for me. Luckily I made it, to a safe spot and went to one of my homeboys' houses. And when I went there, I just, stayed on the low and observing the situation for a day or two. But the situation just got even crazier. The authorities were calling my management. They called my wife at that time, threatening her and stuff and telling her a whole bunch of stuff. Like if you see your husband, you're not gonna see him again, and a whole bunch of stuff. So in the process of that happening, because like I said at the beginning, I had the intention of just staying home. I'm like, whatever happens, happens. But then, when you have people like your parents, and stuff, and a whole bunch of people who care about you all up in your ears, you have to eventually, take advice, especially if it makes sense. And that's when my moms and a few activists and a whole bunch of other people who are influential told me like, yo, if you really want to bring change and you really want to have a big impact and you really want to continue this mission that you started, it's better that you go to an environment where you're going to be free and be able to do what you love doing most, and that's speaking up for your people. But if you stay here and they arrest you and they beat you or they torture you or only God knows what will happen, then that's the end of your mission. And that made sense. And from there, that's basically when I packed my stuff and I took a back route. I didn't go through the normal, typical Karang Amdala route. I took the Casamas route, and it was like a whole day journey. And I fled and came to Dakar. And my wife and daughter at that time followed in the day after.
Oh, okay. I mean, like right before that song, I mean, you were famous, but it is this song that put you on the map.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, you were here in the States before, So
yeah, I was raised there.
Like, how did this whole music thing came about for you? When did it start?
Yeah, good question. It started a long time ago, back in like '97, because I grew up in New York. I was in Eden War projects in the Bronx, and as you all know, the projects have nothing but that hip hop lifestyle, rough environment, etc. And it was at an era when hip hop was just at its finest. You had all these great artists, Big L, Big Pun, Rough Riders, Nas and them, and everybody, at that particular era was just on fire. DJ Clue with the mixtapes, So I always had the ambition to be a rapper. I used to participate in freestyle sessions during the school breaks and stuff. So basically, to explain to people out there who don't know Killa Ace, how Killa Ace as a name and as an artist came about, this is the story. My real name is Ali Cham. So back in school days, they used to call me AC in abbreviation. So I added the E to make it Ace because Ace means number one. And I always felt like I was number one in class or in whatever I did. So I was called Ace. And after school and during breaks, I would participate in rap battles. And in those rap battles, I used to be like one of the best battlers, And there was this one particular occasion where I had the battle with this guy named Charles after school. And after I had a battle with Charles, like I did so wonderful and I demolished Charles. So everybody that was there at that moment was chanting, Ace is a killer, Ace is a killer, Ace is a killer. And I was like 11, 12 at that time, I think. So I added that killer from Ace is a killer to the Ace, and made it Killa Ace. And then I changed the definition from killer on the mic, ace in rap. And that's basically what Killa Ace means, killer on the mic, ace in rap. So after that, I just kept on writing lyrics and just started, trying to perfect my craft. And my brother at the time, rest in peace, Matar Cham, same mom and dad. He died. He was killed in 2006 in the Bronx. He was basically my role model. I used to like his swag. I used to like how he rolled. Everybody liked him. The girls liked him. He was the popular kid on the block. So, I was really inspired by him and his actions and how he moved. And there was one particular day when I was writing lyrics and I was freestyling and rehearsing to myself. And come to find out, he was standing behind my back, and I didn't even realize that. And when he came, he stood behind me. I didn't know he was there, and he was listening to me repeat my lyrics. And he just patted me in the back and said, "Yo, you're gonna be a good rapper, kid. Keep it up." And that just basically just boom, inspired me. Just gave me motivation to become a serious rapper, especially being complimented from somebody that I look up to. And that's how everything just started. And a year and a half after, my parents brought me back to the Gambia. And as soon as I came to Gambia, that's basically where my whole subject matter, as far as lyricism is concerned, changed. Because back in the Bronx, you used to rap about the guns, the cracks, the blings, the chicks, the typical environment that you're surrounded in. But as soon as I hit Gambia and saw the dirt roads and the dusty highways and the kids walking barefooted, selling water and all these things, totally opposite from the world where I just came from, I started crying. And from there, my subject matter, just changed. And I felt like I have to start rapping about the real world and the reality, And that's how Killa Ace started, as an artist or as a rapper. Exactly that's how it started. To go into more further detail.
Let me interject there. Your song, we'll get into that. Your song, Kuboka Chigetegi, was kind of like a national anthem for members of the struggle in the West or in the diaspora. Did you make a living out of that song? Did you make any income out of that song, Kuboka Chigetegi?
To keep it, I don't get any income out of that song, Kuboka Chigetegi, to be very honest with you, because one, it was uploaded for free on SoundCloud, and one of the main reasons why it was uploaded for free, it was a song that was meant to reach the masses, especially the people in Gambia, and they can't afford to buy something on iTunes or something like that. So it was put out there for free, and by the time I could probably monetize it or anything out there, so there was basically no point in trying to monetize something that's already out there. So to be very honest, nope, I didn't make no money from Kuboko Sigeting, because the whole idea of Kuboko Sigeting wasn't even about making money, but it was actually about bringing out a message that has been in the people's hearts for a long time, and making sure that that message touches everybody's heart, and that's worth millions to me, man.
Okay, you left Gambia with your family. You married and you have a kid, right?
Yeah.
How was the survival in
Yes,
Senegal?
yeah. I'm divorced now, but
How were you able to
yeah.
survive? Sorry to hear that, but how were you able to survive in Dakar, not making an income and living there in exile?
Yeah, to be honest, like the first month or two, it was very tough. I stayed at somebody that I knew
Hmm.
over here, and it was very tough. Like, me and my wife and my daughter, we had to spend the night on the floor, in this one single room,
Hmm.
after leaving my nice apartment in Gambia, had to live with my daughter, for like a whole month in that particular situation and condition, but it was hard, it was very, very hard, to be very honest. But I always had the faith that, boom, if I did this from the heart, and I did it based on my own will, then I'm supposed to face any consequences that may. Those were all consequences that just came along with what I did. So
Hmm.
I never had any regret, no matter how hard or how difficult it was at that particular moment. So but then luckily, donors started coming in here and there, and luckily, my mom's, she always makes sure that I'm good no matter what the situation is. So she was always around, and I had people like Siga Jang, who always made sure that she tried her best efforts to try to get support for me, and she made it her priority to get support for me, and raised a lot of alarm within the people that she knew, to get support for me financially and other ways, And then after that first month, I started knowing great people who were very generous, and just from there, just things changed, And alhamdulillah, no matter how hard the situation is, I believe that, if you're doing what's good for a cause, then, good is always going to come after you, But it was very hard at the beginning, especially for my daughter. I mean, for me, I'm a man, so, I've been through more worse situations than that, But for my daughter, who was only 5 at that time, had to leave school, had to live a life that she wasn't used to. She was all good back in Gambia, and I had more pain for her. I felt more for her than I did for myself, and also for my wife at that time, so I felt more for them than I did for myself, that they had to go through that particular situation and live through those conditions, for that particular period, So to be honest, it was very, very difficult, And I was always that type of person who would never ask for anything, I just, would just keep quiet and just, do me, But thanks to Siga Giant at that moment, man, like she helped me a lot. Like, I gotta give a special shout out to her, and of course to my moms, she always made sure, like, I was good. And from there, I met a couple of great people like Abdulrahman Ture, who, paid like 2 months for my apartment, and I was good, and from there things just started, happening, for real.
Uh, glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Every every dark night will have a brighter day. So we're glad to hear
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
But now you
exactly.
now now
Even though
you
things were never as good as it was back when I was at home,
uh-huh.
but I was always grateful. Yeah.
Okay. Now you're planning your homecoming. What are the preparations on the way right now? What can you tell us about the preparations about your homecoming and the concert that you're planning to have back in the Gambia?
Yeah, right now the preparations, like, I've been really busy these days, man. I'm trying to finish up um everything that I'm doing here, from the album to all the other stuff that I have to do over here. So it's really hectic from my end, since I'm the only person here. But as far as Gambia is concerned, like, it's looking very beautiful. I'm loving the love that I'm getting from the people. I'm loving the anticipation as well. That's looking very well. And the people on the ground are planning to come pick me up at the airport, and a whole bunch of stuff, So that's really welcoming and really appreciative, from my end. And I just hope it gets better. Even though I opened up a GoFundMe for people to support the event, but To be very honest, that's very very slow. But it's all good though, regardless. But apart from that, I'm really happy to be ready to go back home. And as far as the homecoming is concerned, it's a event that's just more than me just going back home. It's like a whole package. And what it consists of is my album release. Because I plan on releasing my album on March 17th. So you guys can look out for the Lyrical Revolution online when it drops on March 17th. And then on March 31st, I'm going to be launching my youth movement called Team Gum Sabopa, Believe in Yourself movement. And what we're going to do on the 31st is we're going to host a workshop, and we're going to discuss the topic, the responsibility of artists in society. So we're going to invite various stakeholders of the music industry, and we're going to talk about the responsibility of artists in society. And then on the 1st of April, I'm going to have a big concert at the Senegal West Mini Stadium. So that's basically what the homecoming consists of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, you're a true hero, man, with everything that you've been through, and I'm sure the welcome back home, is going to be great. I'm sure people are looking forward to having you back home. But with your stay in Senegal, how's the rap game over there nowadays? And who are some of the old school rappers, who kind of help you, like the Gunman Humans, like the Daddy B's, Didi Awadi, what's your relationship with those guys?
Yeah, to be very honest, I've been very welcome here. It's just amazing. But luckily for me, I made a little name for myself prior to me coming into exile, because I was selected to represent Gambia in one of the biggest festivals here and in Africa, which is called the Festa 2H International Hip Hop Festival, in which for 3 years in a row, I was selected to represent Gambia. And every time I attended that festival, I always did great. And, I was appreciated by the public and had the opportunity to meet up with a lot of great, big artists here through that platform. So that platform helped me actually get a little bit of recognition here in Senegal before I came into exile. So when I came into exile, all the big names already knew who I was, So luckily through that, I cannot lie. I've been very appreciated here. Gunman Human, the whole Yanamar movement, Simon, all these big names that we hear out here basically know who Killa Ace is, and appreciate and give me love and respect, And luckily, I had an identity of being a Gambian, so technically I was always different, and I stood out, And if there was any event, no matter how big or how small, I was always invited to come perform and showcase, and represent Gambia, And my last performance, I believe, was at the Ibamar Mini Stadium, and it was a big show, and I killed it, and the people really appreciated it. So the people out here, to be very honest, they're great people, and I really appreciate the fact that they open up their arms for me, despite hip hop being a very competitive art, and people like Human, he made sure that I was on his TV platform, the Rap Journal News, and that also gave me a lot of hype out here, and a whole bunch of artists, and if you look at it, almost all the big names and all the people who are influential in Senegal, as far as hip hop is concerned, work with me, one way or another, and I'm really appreciative of that. I'm really, really appreciative, because despite the situation and my situation in Senegal, I was still active as an artist. I was even 5 times more active than I was in Gambia, So coming into exile didn't stop me from doing my work, because hip hop was the only remedy that I had to cure all the situations that I was going through. So luckily for me, that also saved me. Yeah? So big shout outs to all of them, man.
Now, what's your relationship with Gambian rap groups? Because there were times that you have quote unquote beefs with some artists. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I was very outspoken. I had a different ideology. I was totally different from the Gambian artists as far as music is concerned, as far as belief is concerned, So I didn't really get along with a lot of them. But as far as hip hop is concerned, I'm technically the driver of hip hop in Gambia. I created the biggest hip hop platform in 2012 called the Cypher. And that cipher is basically a movement and a platform that gave these young artists and underground artists an opportunity to showcase their talents. We went to the extent where we were organizing rap battle competitions and giving out $50,000 each to winners, and so many stuff that actually kept hip hop in the Gambia, and took it to where it is now today. Even though there are a lot of artists that I didn't get along with because maybe I wasn't feeling their style or I wasn't in line with their concept or with their ideologies, and how they do things, but as of now, I'm gonna be good with everybody because when I go back to Gambia, I just want to be a totally different person. Like I said the other day, I believe that I'm past that beef stage. I don't believe I have to prove to anybody my lyrical capabilities. I'm past that level of proving points now, and I have a bigger beef now, and that beef is the beef with the system and to fight for the people and make sure that they are good on my behalf. So. Even if I had, because I had beef with G, I had beef with Bible, I had beef with a whole bunch of these names that you hear now, but, I'm good now. I put all that aside just, for the interest of all the Gambian youth out there who look up to all of us, collectively. And I think that it's only for the interest of them for me to, change that attitude and just, be more of a diplomatic person who would be a bigger role model, than probably the previous Ace who would say whatever he wants or diss anybody that he, feels like disrespected him or, get it into violence and a whole bunch of stuff, So hopefully when I go back to Gambia, I'm going to scrap that, even though I wouldn't tolerate any disrespect or, nonsense from anybody. But regardless, I'm trying to go back to Gambia as a totally different individual based on the experience in exile and my experience in Senegal. So,
and with your homecoming to Gambia, have you extended any invitation to G and Babu?
Yeah, the other day, I'm gonna invite everybody.
No, but have you done it yet?
Huh?
Have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Have you extended an invitation to G or Babu?
Well, as far as invitations are concerned for the event, that happens like 2 weeks before the event. That's when we give out like invitations, or probably a week before the event. So I'm gonna invite everybody for sure. Even though G blocked me, he blocked me a while ago. Like I think like last year, he blocked me on Facebook. So I really have no contact with him. And by Babu, since our last situation, we haven't been in touch. But hopefully when I get back to Gambia, all that is possible, man. Yeah.
So,
but as of now, I have not.
Yeah. So, Ace, now that you've gone through this experience now, and I'm sure you've learned a lot, as an artist and as a person also, So now, when you come back, are you going to be doing the same thing? Are you going to be scrutinizing the government? Are you going to be, speaking your mind, or have you learned something from your experience that maybe you're going to change, your style of music, or are you still going to be on the same thing?
No, as far as my music is never going to change, especially considering the fact that my style of music is the same music that got me where I am here today. So I'm never going to change that music. There was a time when most of the major hip hop artists in Gambia were switching their style of music to please a particular audience. But unfortunately for me, now I believe I'm really principled, and my style of music is going to remain the same. As far as the government is concerned, with all due respect to them, if they do wrong, I'm gonna speak out because that's what I'm there for. I mean, I want to be a youth ambassador, and in order to speak up on behalf of the youth, you have to be that outspoken person when it's needed. Not unnecessarily, but when it's needed. If the government does something that they shouldn't have done, I'll just keep giving the same treatment as I gave Yaya Jammeh. Because my music is for the people. It's not for one particular group of politicians who are here for only 3 to 5 years and are going to leave the people, So my music is technically for the people. So I'm going to always do music that is going to be for the people. And if my music has done a lot for my people, I'm going to continue doing that same music that can even do more for the people, So, yeah.
Yeah. So
I have no plan on changing music.
Yeah. So now that, you're going to continue doing this music now, like, what is behind this whole thing? Do you want to be remembered as a hero, or, what's behind this whole thing? Why is Killa Ace, taking this route when no Gambian rapper has ever taken this route before? Some have tried, but on a very small scale. But you have taken it to such a big scale right now. What are you trying to get out of this? Hero, or, what's the whole deal behind this whole thing?
Well, to be honest, when I did Kuboko Segetegi, I did it as my responsibility as an artist. And I expected nothing from it but the results which it yielded today, which is for people to be aware of their responsibility as citizens in the Gambia, and to speak up for those that don't have a voice, to speak up for those that have been tortured, to speak up for those that have been brutalized, to speak up to all those that have been killed, and a whole bunch of stuff. So basically what I was doing is I didn't do this for hype. I didn't do it for money. I didn't do it for fame. I did it because it was my responsibility to do so. And that's just it. Anything else that comes after that, I'm going to just say Alhamdulillah. Even if people consider me as a hero, I just say thank God, but that wasn't the main reason of me doing it from the get-go. It was done because I believe that was my responsibility as an artist. It's just like a fireman. When he sees a house that's burning down, it's his responsibility to go put the fire out. So it's just the same thing with me as an artist. So that was my responsibility. So I wasn't expecting nothing from it, So people have their own individual opinions on how they want to see me or judge me as, and I take it as it comes, and whatever comes after, I'll just take it as it comes,
So
but
now,
to be very honest, I did it straight from the heart.
yeah. So now,
Yeah, man.
So now, the individual who sent you to exile, or the individual who was responsible for you going into a self-imposed exile, is there no more. Where were you, and what was your reaction on the day of the elections when you heard the results that the coalition has won? What was your reaction that day?
Yeah, I was so happy and full with joy. I even wanted to cry, but I don't cry easy. I tried crying, but no tear wanted to drop. So
yeah, gangsters don't cry, man.
It was that type of feeling. So yeah, it was that type of feeling. So and what happened was I was up for 2 nights. I was up for 48 hours just following the events because people in Gambia, outside of Gambia, had an information blackout. They didn't know anything that was going on in Gambia. So luckily, Mina Mane from the UK, she brought this code in which I can watch GRTS live online. And watching it online, I also was live streaming it on my Facebook. So I had to be up making sure that the live streaming is good so that all the people that can't watch GRTS can watch it through me. So I was up for 2 days in a row without even sleeping, But as the results were coming in, I was just, more happier, and the greatest period was, after the results were announced, I just felt happy, wow, everything comes to an end, and no matter how hard the situation is, if you believe in what you believe in, it's going to end, and it ended at a very important period, where it was definitely needed, but as far as Jammeh himself, I don't really believe that it's Jammeh who put me into exile because if Gambia has a problem, I believe Jammeh only contributed 30 to 40% of the problem. The other 40 to 70% were all problems that were created by Gambians themselves. Example, the security forces that were looking for me wasn't they were all Gambians. The security forces that used to brutalize Gambian brothers and sisters, they were Gambians. It wasn't Jammeh himself. The people in Gambia who would betray each other for position and power. So the 70% of the problems in Gambia were created by Gambians themselves, So I don't just blame Jammeh, but I blame the whole entire system in which I call Jammianism, which he created. And that system is in the minds of the people that have been doing the dirty work for him. Because Jammeh never came and killed anybody. Jammeh never came and arrested nobody. He never tortured anybody. These were all Gambians that were doing it to the fellow Gambians.
So now that you're going, so we're just gonna give you about a minute or two, to do a shout out, to your fans out there, and just to tell them, what to expect on the homecoming and your new album also.
Yeah, basically, I'd like to give a special thanks to all my fans out there. Both old and new fans. That have been supporting. It's all for them technically. And I'm just encouraging everybody in Gambia to come out and support, the event, all the institutions, all the big companies, all the individuals, all the fans to come and support, as that's the only thing that could, make it a success. And for the fans in the diaspora as well, I would highly appreciate support, for the event. I have a GoFundMe out there, that's open which is really, really slow. So it would be great if anybody could drop a dime or two, to support that. It would be highly appreciated. And if there's anybody who want to support directly, I could give out my number, for anybody that also wants to support directly. And apart from that, man, it's a great feeling, to go back to Gambia and reunite with the people, with the fans, with my family, and that alone is a great feeling, Even though it's sad that I'm going to have to leave Senegal, because Senegal has become part of, me and help me become a better person. The people here are great. The people here are very hospitable. And it's really sad that I'm going to have to leave Senegal after spending almost 2 years here. But it's all good, though. I'm going to be back. So as far as the fans is concerned, man, it's just nothing but love. So I just want them to increase the love up. And when the album drops on the 17th of March, all the Gambians in the diaspora who can buy a copy of the album, that would be awesome. That would be very dope and appreciated, for them to spend like $10 and buy the album, but right now the most important thing is the GoFund. If they can support the GoFund or support directly, that would be fantastic.
Maybe you should tell us the name of the GoFund, so that people will know if there is any other way that we can contact you, for people, who want to contact you directly also. So if you can give out that information, for the folks out there to know.
Yeah, the GoFundMe, I believe is named under Pamodu Job, PMJ. He opened his name, but I believe the title is Team Gumsabopa. Team Gumsabopa, that's the name of it. So yeah, that's it. And if there's anybody who want to contact me directly, my number is 777-590-518. That's 777-590-518. +221 is the area code. 777-590-518. And you can holler at me. That number is available on Viber, WhatsApp, and all other online platforms. So yeah, man.
All right, man. I guess this will do it for now. I mean, we are all looking forward to the homecoming and to the release of the album. We know it's going to be great. And I'm sure the fans can't wait, man. We the fans over here too. We can't wait. We all wish that we'll be there.
Yeah.
But we will not be able to. But I mean, we wish you the best of luck, man.
Yeah, highly, highly appreciate it. And thanks, for giving me a platform to speak out and reach to a lot of people. Highly appreciate it, man. And hopefully, look forward to, working with you guys in the future as well, man. Straight up.
All right, no problem, man. You take care now.
All right, stay blessed, bro. One love, man.
All right, be cool.
Peace.
All right, that was Killa Ace, Ali Cham, a.k.a. Killa Ace. For those of you guys out there who will be in Gambia for the homecoming, we are all encouraging everybody to go and show some love and show some support to him. For those of us over here in the diaspora, he has given out the GoFund name. Anybody who has anything to contribute and try to help, please go ahead and go there and try to see what you can do for him. I will pass it on to my co-host, and we will just go ahead and wrap it up.
That will do it for this edition of the For the Gambia show. Till we come your way again, stay Gambian and be true Gambians. Thank you.